Okay, so in today's class, we will see uh, basically two important library that is required to create agentic AI workflow structure. Um, so one is a type dict and other is Pydantic. Okay. So if you create any agentic AI software or let's say workflow, let's say if you are using a LangGraph, so this TypeDict and Pydantic are very important library to basically help you to create the schema. Okay. And so these two library are super important. Also, let's say if you need a structured output. Okay. So there, this library are very much helpful. Similarly, let's say if you have to create a tool, uh, help in tool creation. Okay. Help in tool creation, validation of output type. Okay. So this library like TypeDict and Pydantic is very helpful when you need a structured output, help in tool creation. Um, yeah. So it help you in tool creation. So tool is a extra capabilities that we are giving to the LLM to complete any task, right? Similarly, validation of output type. So let's say if you are LLM giving some output, let's say if you want your output in a structured format and you want to validate that output. So validation in the term of what type of output. So let's say if you need a number or you want output in dictionary format or any format that you want, if you want to validate that whether you are getting the output in that format or not or that type or not, so there this library can be helpful. Okay. And if you see the LangGraph code or yeah, if you see if, if you go to the let's say LangGraph, okay, document, and let's say if we go to the LangGraph document, okay, Python, and if you see this message like state message state, okay, and similarly if you see here this this type of notation, okay, int uh, uh, so these are basically with the help of TypeDict or Pydantic. Similarly, if you see here, this TypeDict and annotated is used. Okay, so in any code where you are using a tool, and let's say if you are creating a agentic AI uh, software, there you will need this thing, typing, Pydantic and TypeDict. Even if you are creating a MCP server, okay, uh, there also this typing and Pydantic is used, and that is very important. Um, even if you see in LangChain, if I go to LangChain document, and if you see here structured output, okay, so this union, yeah. So if you see here, this is also means yeah, first here also we have used TypeDict. Okay, so this TypeDict or Pydantic, so let's say TypeDict and Pydantic. Okay, so this will be used if we create any agentic AI thing, or even if you need a structured output. There most of the time people use these models or this library Pydantic or TypeDict. So today we will see in depth uh, what are this library and how we can, let's say if we have to create a class or function or variable with the help of type, how we can create those things. Okay. Yeah. So this is the importance of this library. So before starting agentic AI thing, I want to give a brief overview of this TypeDict and Pydantic. Okay. And this make or this library, if you understand these libraries, the understanding of agentic AI or creating uh, agentic AI application will be super easy. Okay. So let's start with typing, or let's say if I talk about type. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about type. So type is nothing but in Python, if I have to, let's say 2 is a number, right? What will be its type? Anyone? So its type will be int, right? Similarly, let's say 2.1, its type will be float.
Okay.
Okay. And let's say if anything inside a inverted comma, then it will be a string,
String.
right? Similarly, its type will be list. This will be dictionary, right? Okay. So these are the type of, let's say if I have any number or string or any bracket, then it will have some type. So there is a typing library, library. So this is Python built-in library, built-in library. Okay. So built-in library means you don't have to import anything to use this library. Okay. So this is already pre-built in Python package. Okay. So how, what does this library do? So this help in type hints. Okay. Help in type hints. So type hints means, let's say if you create any variable. So let's say if you create a equal to 2. Okay. So you what you can do, you can basically give the type as well. Okay. So let's say here the type a, then colon and 2. So here you are also giving, okay, this variable has type of int, so that means it basically help user, or let's say if anyone writing the code, if you define okay this int, so he will basically have some type hinting or hint. He will have some hint, okay, this a is basically integer, right? Not float or other data type. Similarly, let's say if you are creating some name, okay, so let's say name is a variable, let's say name uh, Sonu, okay. So let's say you define name. So if you have to do the type hinting, so what you can do, name, and here you can write the data type str. Okay. Then the functionality will be same, nothing will change. Only thing is like you have put some extra hint, so that let's say if you are anyone seeing the program, they easily understood, okay, this name is basically a string data type. Okay. So uh, there are some syntax. So for variable, uh, so let's say variable equal to some value. Okay. So generally, this is how we are defining the uh, any variable. Okay. So for example, as I said, a equal to let's say 4. Okay. In type int, this syntax is like So variable, okay, and just you write the type and then value. Okay, only one change. So what you do, just put the type. Okay, so variable name, then colon, then type equal to something. Okay, so in the same thing, the variable is a and its type is int and then value is 4. Okay, so this is how you define for variable. Let's say there is a function. Okay, let's say you have create one function def and a comma b. Okay, sorry, add a comma b. Okay, and let's say return is a plus b. Okay, now let's say for this case, if I have to define the means, if I have to use the typing hint, how the syntax will be. Okay, so in this also first def, what will be the, let's say here you can define the data type. So let's say I am defining the data type is int for A. Similarly for B also int. Okay, now you also need to define the output data type. So here out, so if you add int plus int, the output will be also integer, right? So here for output, this is the symbol they use and put the data type int. Okay, so this is how for function, this is the way to put typing hint. Okay, any doubt in this? Okay. So yeah, so this we have seen. So again, let's say what is type hint? Type in a Python are optional and not enforced at a runtime by default. They are helpful command that tool can use, but Python won't stop you from passing the wrong type. Okay, it is just a type hints. Okay, uh, hint is you have given some hint, but that is optional. Okay, so first focus on just how we can give the type hint. Okay, so we have already seen the syntax. So variable name, then colon, then type equal to value. Okay, so for name case, we just put a string and then the variable name. Okay, so this is how we are defining for variable. Okay, similarly, let's say there is a boolean. So is active equal to true. So for boolean, the type will be bool. Okay, so simply uh, very simple variable name, then put colon, then type. Okay, and if you have to do for uh, function, then let's say this is the function name. Just in function, just put the argument and then type. And for what is the output data type, so there also you define in this format. Okay, so in function, all this thing put in a single line. Okay, yeah. So this is basically a type hints. Okay, now, okay, so let's see with some example here only. Okay, in the code. So let's say if this is the a equal to 2 or maybe a equal to 6.3. Okay, and so this is the previous way of creating a variable. Let's say if you add a type hint in that. So this is a float, right? So what we can write, colon float. Okay, so this is a means you have added the type hint. Okay, now let's say you have certain uh, b equal to, let's say 1 4 5 8 5 comma 8. Okay, now this is a list. Okay, let's say for this, if you have to create a uh, type hint, so what you need to write, so its type is list. Okay, and inside list what is there, all the number are integer. So what you can write, int equal to 1 comma 4 comma 5 comma 8. Okay, so this is how, let's say if you have a list, so this is how you can create a type hint for this thing. Okay, similarly, let's say if you have a dictionary. Okay, the same thing that is there. Let's say take this example. Yeah. Huh. So let's say this is also a list. In this list, let's say if I have to do the type hinting, what should I write? Colon. Then this is a list, and inside that what is there? String, right? Simply you can write a string. Okay, so this is for this one. So these are just few examples. Uh, okay, take this example. Hmm. Yeah. So first, let's say if I have to put type hint for this one. Okay. So all these things are put inside a list, right? So first will be list. Okay. Now inside that, what is there? So this is a dictionary, right? This is a dictionary, and inside dictionary, what is there? This is a string, and this is also a string. So str comma str. Okay. Yeah. So this is how you can basically do the type hinting for this one. Okay. Uh, Now there are some other thing from typing input optional. Okay. So let's say this optional means user can uh, means, let's say here I have put in a string. So optional means can be string or none. Okay. Can be string or none. Similarly others, and here if you see the functions, so here there are three argument, first, last and middle. So in that also we have defined first string, last string, then middle one. This is the optional. By default it will be none, and the output is also string. Okay. Similarly, let's say if you want to um, yeah. So this is important. So this type of type hinting. So basically, let's say if you are creating a variable name is sentiment. Okay. And what you want you want user to input either positive or negative, not other than that. So for that, we generally use literal. Okay. So literal, so the input should be either means we just giving hint to user that either enter positive or negative. Okay. So this type of hinting you can give through literal. Okay. This is for function. So let's say if there is a addition function where a and b are two variables. So this is how we can do the type hinting for that. And here if you see return is a plus b. So that is a integer. Integer plus integer is integer. So here we are giving the type hint for output. Okay. Similarly, this output is a string. So here output we have written in this way. Means the type hint is means this way. Okay, this is the syntax. Here the output is boolean. So this is how we are giving the hinting for return. Okay. Uh, yeah. Now next thing is a TypeDict. Okay. So if you clearly see the definition, what is TypeDict? So TypeDict is a special way to define dictionary types with specific keys and specific value types for each key. It's like a blueprint for a dictionary. So TypeDict is a special way to define a dictionary. Okay. And most of the time we will use TypeDict. Okay. So just focus on this piece of code. Okay. So the TypeDict, so from typing import TypeDict. Okay. So TypeDict is a special way to define dictionary types. A special way to define dictionary types. Okay. With specific keys and specific value. Okay. So let's see. So this is the standard structure. Okay. So let's say if you are using a TypeDict, so first thing is the description. So this description is super important when you are creating any uh, LLM application where you need a structured data. So this description is very important, and later we will see also how this is important and what is the effect of this means description. So this description is nothing but let's say uh, what are the value that you are storing and what is the purpose. Okay. So the syntax is, let's say, so first from typing import TypeDict. Okay. So this is the library. Now just you need to define one class name. Okay. And class name can be uh, let's say profile. Okay. And here what you need to input this thing type dict. Okay. And then here the things are like dictionary thing. So let's say if I have to create a profile. So in profile, what will be there? Name. Okay. And again do the type hinting only. Okay. Name will be str. Okay. And then equal to, you can, uh, okay. So in, so yeah, you don't have to put equal to. Simply you need to write a name and then type. Okay. Then you can write age. Age will be integer. Um, job, let's say job will be either true or false, so it will be boolean. Okay. And you can add any number of parameters in this. Okay. So, and let's say name, age, job, and before that simply write some description. So this is about person profile. Okay. So this is a you have created one class with this thing, name, age, job. Okay. Now let's see what is the use of this thing. Okay. So for that, let's see with some example. Yeah. So in previous class, let's see whether this is working or not. Output equal to model dot inbook. Okay. Just I am, yeah. Okay. In my case, the API key is already set. Okay. So I haven't, I was just checking whether that is, we are able to call it or not. So we able to call it. So let's see what is the output. Okay. Okay. Now, so there are in LangChain, there is a term called LLM with, let's say, a structured output. So mm, I'm looking for an older version. LangChain structure. Yeah. So let's say uh, the task is so we have defined one schema with the help of TypeDict. Okay, where name is email ID. Okay, user dictionary with a specific field. Let's say we have defined this thing, and let's say what we want output in structured format where we basically want to extract name, age, and email ID. So let's say I write a prompt. So one simple string Q. Uh, the name is okay. Hi, I am uh, Dheeraj. Age is 32 and my email ID is Dheeraj at the rate 20 at the rate, let's say gmail.com. Okay. So let's say this is the query. Yeah. So here, if you see, we just define the model and model dot with structured output. And here, what we basically want to extract name, age, and email, let's say. So for that, what we need to give here, just the schema. So this is called schema. Okay. So this schema we have created with the help of TypeDict. So let's first see whether this is working or not. Okay. So model dot with structured output, and inside that what we have given this schema. Okay. Now this is the query. Okay. Query. And let's say output equal to what we can write structured, sorry, dot invoke invoke query. Okay. So let's say my age is 32. So let's run this thing. Yeah. Now let's see print output dot content. Okay. Simply print output. See, name Dheeraj is 32, email ID. So to get the output in a structured format, what we need to do? Simply we need to define one schema. Okay. Here you haven't tell what LLM need to do. You have just given the schema, right? This schema. Basically, schema is nothing but in what format you want the output. So this will basically give the output in JSON format or dictionary format. Okay. And here you define, okay, in dictionary, name should be string, age should be integer, and email should be string. Okay. So these are the hint that you have given to the LLM, and you just associated this schema through this just model dot with structured output, and this schema that you have provided is given here. Okay. So using this code, you basically join this schema with the model, and after that you have just enter the query and invoke this model. Okay. And the output you get like this, and this output you can easily use. Let's say if you have created some application where there are certain blank fields, right, and you want to fill that, so the outputs of the LLM should be in a structured format. If that will be in a structured format, then you can easily extract the values from that output and put inside a blank fields. Okay, so this TypeDict, okay, or so this basically help you to get the output in a structured format. So this is one of the thing. Okay, you can also create a tools with this, but here just I have shown the example of how you can create a, how you can get a structured output. Okay, so yeah, so here you can give anything, it will be able to give you the output in this format. Okay, and this is super important. Why? Because in industry most of the times you want output in a structured format. If the output is not in a structured format, it may not be very useful, or it may not be uh, it is just like a garbage for them if the output is not in structured format. Okay, so let's say if you have to get, so this is a dictionary, right? So let's say output of name. See, this is how you can access the dictionary. So let's say if there is a field, you have created some application, and uh, if I give you a simple example, mm, okay, so if I give you some simple example, let's say you created some medical application. Okay, so in medical application, let's say you have a x-ray lab report. So in lab report, blood test, uh, address, name, mobile number. Okay, there are many things are there. Okay, and with the help of LLM, you want to create a, means the task is like, let's say uh, if I give you a photo or image of a, let's say, lab report where the blood let's say different types of the test that has been done, their values are mentioned in that report. And let's say with the help of LLM, you pass this image to the LLM, and LLM basically give, okay, this report has these things. Okay, so let's say if you give upload any image to the chat gpt, so chat gpt give, okay, description and other things. Okay, but you do not want that thing, you just want the value in digital format. So digital format in the sense, let's say you want to basically extract the age, name of the person, okay, and name, age, and the other information. Let's say you want to see the blood type. Okay, uh, either it is O positive or there are different types, right? Similarly, you want to extract, let's say, hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin you want to extract and save it here. Uh, Similarly, let's say there are other things that you want to extract. Maybe I can show you some image. Okay, lab report images. Mm, Let's say lab report for blood sugar, dengue. Yeah. So let's say this is one of the lab report. Okay. And let's say IgM. Okay. So let's take the screenshot of that. Skip print screen. Okay. And Let's take the screenshot and open the chat GPT. Okay, and add photos and files, pictures. Yeah, extract all the information. So this is already in a structured format, but let's say if you have to access this value, you cannot write means directly. So let's copy this thing and okay, and yeah. So and let's say this is a report. Okay, so this information you have, let's say, is stored in a variable. Okay, now let's say with the help of TypeDict dictionary, okay, you create one schema from, and let's say this function is this class is patient. Okay, patient, and the description patient lab report. Okay, now let's say what are the things that you want to know. So you want to know the name, let's say name, age, and okay, phone, address also you want, email ID you want. Okay, email ID may not be required, PID. Mm, okay, so you want name, age, uh, also you need, let's say lab underscore name, and that is also str. Lab name is then uh, that is also str, and PID. PID is personal identification number. So let's say PID. So that you also okay, that is an integer. Okay, and mm, let's say doctor name. Okay, str. Mm, and IgG, IgM, IgG, IgG, IgM, IgM. That is that is float. Let's say float. and that is also float, right? IGM float. This, let's say, yeah. So here also you can add comments. So this comment, if you add, na, so this comment also, okay, it's okay, not adding any comment. First see what happened. So these are the information that uh, we are extracting from the uh, things that we have given, means as input. Okay, one more thing we can add, address. Okay, address will be string, then phone number. Okay, that is integer, right? So these are the thing that we want. Okay, so this is the input that we will give to the LLM, and this is the schema. Okay, so for attaching the schema with LLM, again, yeah, and model with, here just change the, just copy this thing and paste it here. Okay, so this is just, so this is already inside a report. This is also run. Now let's say the output. First run it. So output will be, you have to run this thing, right? Structured LLM dot invoke dot invoke, and the message is stored in report. Okay, so simply let's say if I write report, let's run it. Okay, and let's see the output. Okay. Yeah, so the lab name, it able to identify male, PID number, name of the patient, age, email ID, it not able to extract, address it able to extract, phone number also it not able to extract, doctor name it's extract, IgG and IgM value it also able to extract, right? So these are, means, see how powerful, if we use a means this TypeDict, means if we give a schema, and this schema we made it through TypeDict, how powerful it can be when you have to create a application. So these are super important thing that uh, you need output in structured format, not like some sentence, not in sentence form, right? And because it is very easy to get the, let's say once you get the output, let's say if you have to see the name, so it is like lab, lab underscore name, right? See, and this value you can directly pass it to the field where you want to Let's say if you are creating some app, you can directly pass this value to that app. Okay, so this is how powerful it is, like this Pydantic, um, because it give you the structured output, and in similar way it also help you to create a tools. So in next class we will see the Pydantic, and so in today's class we have seen TypeDict. Similarly, in next class we will see the Pydantic. So Pydantic, right now you are not validating in the sense, let's say the output comes. Okay, so validation in type. So let's say instead of PID, then this is a 565, that is an integer. Let's say it give you some wrong information, not an integer, some, let's say some name. Okay, so that you can validate through Pydantic. So Pydantic is generally used, let's say when you create any API. Okay, so there, because in API we want the output in standard format or a standard type, the type that we define. If you not get the output type that we define, so type, again I emphasis the type is whether that is a string or integer or float. If you are not getting that particular type, the Pydantic will basically help us to validate those things, whether the output we are getting in that type or not. Okay, so Pydantic also we can create a schema. So there is a small change in that schema, but that is also similar to the TypeDict only. But the extra feature that Pydantic provide is giving you validation facility as well. Okay, so in next class we will see that as well. Okay, so for today class, uh, yeah, so that's it for today's class. Any question on this? Anyone? Okay, so just a small assignment for this. So uh, right now I have given some, in this example I have given uh, not directly image, but first I extracted from that image with the help of ChatGPT. I'm extracting the text, right? And after that I'm passing that text to the LLM model to get the output in that format. But this text also I want to extract it from the with the help of LLM. And we have already seen in previous classes how we can uh, use multimodal LLM. So the same model, the input format can be different, but with the help of that you can extract those things. Okay, so try to incorporate that thing, and then basically extract the fields, okay, in the structured format. You can take any lab report, maybe your lab report, or it may not be lab report, it can be anything else, but I want output in some structured format. It can be, let's say, um, from resume, if you want to extract the certain things that you can uh, do, or maybe it can be some handwritten thing. Okay, let's say if you write some notes and from that notes you want to extract certain things, that you can do, uh, that you can do it. And also if you want to do it in a structured format, that also you can do. So I want you people to try with some of the images and um, get the output in a structured format. Okay, so that is a small exercise. Yeah, any question on that? Okay. Okay, then thanks everyone. That's it for today's class. Next class. Okay, tomorrow also we will have a class. Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ.
Yes, thank you, sir.